What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I am Chanel with Housewife Hoodoo, and today, right now, we are going to go ahead and be taking a look into this Leo new moon energy. So I know in my last video I had mentioned that I was, like, oh, I'm gonna do readings for Leo season and all that, and that is something that I have done in the past, but I am, after taking a moment to really allow things to digest, I realized, oh yes, I did say that in my going back to doing my tarot readings, I would just focus on major planetary aspects, and this new moon here is one. So we're gonna talk a little bit about this new moon real quick. From an astrological perspective, I just wrote down some aspects so I could talk about them, touch on them. All right, so first of all, the sun and the moon are in a conjunction. That's what a new moon is, in the event that you were not aware of that, right? So this means that the sun and the lunar energy are coming together as an expression of wholeness within the sign of Leo, of creativity and self-expression, soul expression, right? This is about giving and love and romance and going big, right? Go big or go home. If you're not going to do it completely, don't do it at all. That's really what Leo is inviting you to. It also has a lot to do with the inner child, right? And so maybe having a lot of things coming up in reference to that. I know I have personally. Excuse me, I just drank some water. But yes, I have personally. Let me fix this light. Okay, that's fine. I'm sorry, y'all, because I'm concerned about my glasses being reflected in. We're gonna leave it there. Okay, so yeah, so with wherever this energy is happening in your chart, this is possibly where you're going to be feeling like a big woof kind of energy, so the sun and the moon being conjunct, it's going to be a moon at 12 degrees. So this is a Pisces degree. So this also has a lot to do with our innovativeness, our genius. I don't want to say creativity, because Pisces is more about genius. It's that ethereal, collective consciousness expression through the individual, right? How do you express yourself? What individual genius do you carry within the collective conscious? And that's what is being expressed. A lot of divine purpose energy showing up here, right? And then we also have this 8/8 portal coming up 4 days after the moon, which is tomorrow on Sunday. So for one, it's a good time to set your intentions, right? Write things down, light a candle for where it is that you are taking this. If you are practicing any kind of spell work, magic, hoodoo, conjure, right, you can be sure that these things you will see things building and fully coming into fruition when we have a Leo full moon in Aquarius, which is not until 2025, right? So this is kind of like a long game. Anytime you work with the moon, it's a long game. It's a cycle game, right? You are either entering new cycles or coming out of cycles. And with this new moon, you're coming into a new cycle, that one of Leo. I have a Leo rising, so this is happening in my first house. Okay, so with that, we have also a sextile to Mars and Jupiter, which is in Gemini. All right, so with this energy here, this can either bring a lot of forward movement, or it can show you where you have not been doing what it is that is required in order for movement to take place, and whatever it is that you're trying to create in your life, especially within these houses. Okay, so if we just look at it from just simply a zodiac perspective, Gemini in itself also has a lot to do with creativity, right? It has a lot to do with small business and family relationships and immediate family relationships, right? Sibling relationships. This is also about just relationships altogether, right? Because Gemini is that very social energy, that fun loving energy. Both of these energies together are very fun, right? So if you are having a good time, if things are feeling good, which I know that most of us are having a lot of stuff going, because we have a lot of planets that are in retrograde right now, right? We have Saturn, we have Pluto, okay, we have Neptune, Chiron just went retrograde, and Mercury is about to go retrograde, I think tomorrow, at the moon. Right, so it's a lot of internal reflection coming up that we're needing to do, needing to sit with, needing to be like, okay, what is required, right? What is it gonna take? What do I need to do? Okay, what steps do I need to make? Gemini, where do I need to go the distance, right? Where is it that I'm actually traveling to, headed to? And what do I need to do in order to make that expand in a way that is long lasting? Because Leo is a fixed energy. Once it puts something in motion, it wants it to be that way for as long as possible, right? And Gemini is coming through with that mutable energy, encouraging you to make that change, that Mars energy, to go full force with it, in a sense, like, I'm gonna initiate this, I'm gonna do this. And Jupiter there, these are all fiery, this is a very fiery energy that's going on, right? So there may be some fire going on at this time, that I have seen that recently, right? So it's also, this moon is also in opposition to Pluto, which is at 0 degree Aquarius, which is in retrograde, right? So this is about that internal transformation of what it is that we know, like something is old and played out, right? That does not meet our goals of where we're going. Like a 0 degree kind of gives that energy of whatever can happen will happen, because it's a full expression, it's an infinite expression of that one particular zodiac sign, right? So Aquarius is about our goals, it's about our humanitarianism, our philanthropy, right? Our friendships, okay? This is about getting and gaining support, the welfare of others. Aquarius is also a very political sign. It's the we, the people, right? Showing up for them, I'm here for the people. So with this Pluto at this 0 degree Aquarius, that is being pushed very strongly to the forefront. But in September, Pluto will be going back into Capricorn at the 29th degree, and a lot of things are just going to be coming undone. So right now, these transformations that we're feeling, whatever is tying us to the past, to what's old, is going to come completely undone. And whatever intentions we set under this moon is going to be a strong reflection of this, okay? So it's also in a trine, a benevolent aspect to Neptune, which is in 29 degrees Pisces, and then at the North Node in Aries, which is at 8 degrees, okay? So right now, where we are within our destiny, that 8 degree is really trying to bring creation into reality, like have control over what it is that you have, what you are tending to, what you're growing, right? And really being able for it to thrive for real, right? It's Aries energy, so it wants to be lively, it wants to be new, it wants to be fresh, right? This is all about new beginnings, like for real. New beginnings. If you haven't already started the new beginning, you're getting a sign that, oh, I wish I would have just done it then. Why didn't I listen? Right? But most of the time, that come from lessons that we got to learn. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull some cards. I'm going to pull some oracle cards, and then I'm going to pull 3 tarot cards to just clarify that energy. So let's go ahead and get into it. Divine Source Creator, Holy Spirit, ancestors, spirit guides, elementals, and angels, we give you thanks for this day, for this time, for this moment in time, for the moments to come. What messages, insights, and guidance do you have for us? What would you like for us to know for this Leo new moon? carrying us forward? What are we letting go of? What do we need to be aware of? What is the insight? The guidance? The advice? What do you have here for us for this Leo new moon? Yeah. Okay, so the first card we have coming out here is youth. So youth is about, this is like a not necessarily knowing where it is that you're going, but taking one foot in front of the other. It's going to also be speaking about a need to connect with someone wiser than you to help support you in the direction it is that you are moving into, right? Because he having fun, he's floating. We want it to feel good, right? Leo is that happy, joyful, having a good time. Leo is fun. Like, it literally is. Like, if you go and look up and read what the attributes of Leo, one of them is fun, right? So this is having a good time, learning to trust that even though we are unaware that where we are going, we haven't been yet, that it's going to work out for us, that the support it is that we need is going to show up at the times that we need it, like that we have. And also that we have a lot of wisdom, right? Because wisdom came up at the bottom. Don't reject the wisdom it is that's coming forward for you, to you, in supporting you, which is why I said you may be in need of someone who is wiser than you to help you in these situations, right? These cats out here fighting. All right, where are you fighting internally with yourself about what it is that you trying to create, right? Because that cat is that feminine, feline energy, that guardian energy. What else is here? Use also, again, that inner child work, right? So a lot of us are needing to possibly either cultivate, do some healing, right? Or uplift that inner child that does, the inner child that makes things happen, that takes the creation and builds it. Okay. What else do we have here? What other messages do you have, please? Self-sabotage, right? So needing to really, for one, needing to be compassionate with oneself about the choices that we make, right? And even though we may not have, like, so let's say, for instance, we may not have listened. It's like, don't beat yourself up about it. Recognize the ways that you tend to go about sabotaging yourself, right? Recognize how whatever situation it is that you're dealing with right now, recognize what it is that you did or did not do and that brought you to this, right? And what it is that's needing to be transformed, what's needing to change in order to support you in the direction it is that you're going. A lot of us may not even necessarily know. In new matters, we don't really know, honestly. It takes time. It's like, enjoy the moment, enjoy the ride is what I'm getting, instead of wanting that instant gratification, that instant satisfaction, because that's usually that is a big thing that usually puts us in that space of self-sabotage, right? I want it now. Very Veruca Salt. Like, it's all right, relax. You don't need it now. You need to do the work. I had watched this video. I follow School of Hard Knocks on Instagram, right? And he was talking to a guy, and they were talking about generations, right? The guy who interviews people, he's in Gen Z. And the other guy, I think he's probably a baby boomer. You know, boomers, they are really about hard work and capitalizing on that to gain, right? Whereas us younger folk, I'm not a Gen Z, but we kind of have grown to this mindset of or perspective of that we are entitled to something, that we are deserving or something, like it's our birthright. And a lot of that comes from so much that has been taken from us as humans, right? And feeling like we have to fight for it. So a lot of that deserving narrative comes from that. But let's say, for instance, none of that happened and we were still living on our own free will, free accord. We would still have to earn what it is that we build, make, grow, operate in and under. In that's what is required in earning, and in that we deserve it because it's ours, right? We did it. That doesn't mean that there is no birthright to a thing, but I do believe it's important to not get it mixed up that you don't still have to work for something, right? Yeah, so we have the jar here. So when the jar comes up, this is speaking about recognizing where it is that you have contained your energy. What space have you been holding yourself in, and has that been supporting you? Has the energy that you have been holding yourself in creating this self-sabotage, right? And it's like a need to take yourself out of this jar and put yourself in a new one with new feelings, right? New everything, right? Maybe needing to sweeten yourself up so that you can relax and be open to what is to come. A need to take a risk. We have the gambling man at the bottom here, and at the bottom of this goddess deck we have miracles, Ayazan, right? So miracles occur when you take the risk that is necessary for you to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. Live whatever life it is that you're trying to live, right? Even if you're just trying to get more sleep, okay? Babe, can you close that door? What other messages do we have here for this Leo new moon? We have the womb. So there may be a need to really be internal, be within. Okay, the womb. This particular card is a Pisces energy. Okay, so this is a need to do some meditation, get into a space of stillness so that things can really be seen and received in the way that they need to be, that is going to support you and serve you, right? In the womb, it's gestating, it's growing, right? So this is like allow things to take its time. It's new, it's budding. Nourish the thing, nourish yourself, nourish your body. For women, some of you may be beginning your menstrual cycle during this moon, so it's a good time to, as you're cleansing, as you're releasing, paying attention to those thoughts, those feelings it is that are coming up, because that's a superpower of ours, our ability to heal, to release and relieve ourselves of burdens that are not necessary. There may also be some pregnancy coming up, this youth, this womb, right? It's like, don't self-sabotage yourself by take care of yourself, basically. Truly, take care of yourself. Whether you are pregnant or not, maybe you need to go back into the womb space, right? And kind of like do a regression, a meditation, a vision, of taking a journey back to the womb and seeing what feelings it is that you pick up when you do that. Like, what thoughts come to you? What do you see? What are you hearing there, right? And when you come up out of that journal, so that you can see what's going on. We have the king, so it has a lot to do with standing in your own authority, right? Leading with purpose, in balance, in grace, leading from a space of knowing that you are governing many tribes, communities, right? Even if that's within yourself. This is about a very internal kind of aspects, because although Leo does involve other people in its expression of romance, right, in relationships, this is more about the romance and relationship with yourself. At the bottom we have the shapeshifter. So be careful also of people. Be very discerning at this time, right? Shapeshifter can hold trickster energy. It's very unpredictable, right? But maybe you are needing to connect with that energy to support you and help you to be able to make the moves. At the bottom we have Goddess Mut. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but she is the high priestess in this deck, and the sacred woman, Queen Mother. All right, Queen Mother Goddess. So a lot of motherly relationships, fatherly relationships, masculine relationships. How do you relate to what it is that you're doing and how you go about doing it? What do you hold within yourself when you move forward in bringing things to fruition, when you go forward in means of protecting yourself, right? So protection can be as simple as saying no. You know, like, I'm not doing this. I don't want this. I'm not doing this. Let's see. We'll read the King. The King is the emperor, the commander, and the ruler. So it says, if our lives are imagined as a kingdom containing the entire spectrum of the human experience, the king presides over it all. Through the lens of the king, we assess the state of our land, make decisions, and rule accordingly. Therefore, the king must be thoroughly and regularly vetted so as to avoid corruption. Recognize the dual nature of the king. He is either seated in benevolence and strength, guided towards peace, or he is oppressing the weak out of a need to control. There is not much middle ground. Some think of the king as the ultimate expression of the ego, yet the great kings of mythology and history serve from an egoless place. They take their throne with grace and humility. Knowing the divine uses them as a channel to heal deep and long-standing discrepancies in the kingdom. So in the light, the king is expressed as benevolence, divine leadership, service, and nobility. When in the dark, it's oppression, misuse of power, and corruption. Okay, so this also has me wanting to say or recognize where you have kind of subscribed to an idea that you are lesser, that you are oppressed, right? That someone outside of you is oppressing you, right? And in the event that that is a real thing, right? Because there's a lot of oppression that exists, especially when it comes to governmental structures and things of that nature. Sometimes oppression is a perceived thing. We want to recognize where it is that we are actually being oppressed, right? And get ourselves out of that predicament, right? Because that even can be a form of self-sabotage, continuing to keep yourself in a space that you know you do not, okay, need to be in any longer. It doesn't serve you there, right? You cannot rule from this space any longer. It doesn't allow you to be in your kingship. It pulls you into a space of feeling, if you feel like you're having to force it, if there is no grace, right? If there is no humility, right? And the ego is just all out of control on some, well, I deserve, right? Because that I deserve can come from the ego, when in reality, I deserve can be expressed in a way of like, dang, yeah, I deserved this. And it doesn't have to be on a defense, right? Coming up out of defense, coming up out of control, walking away from where it is that you are controlling things or attempting to control things out of behaviors or thoughts, right? Because sometimes, I'm going to use myself an example. I have a very controlling expression of myself. And I don't say that out of I show up and trying to control people, but when it comes to my human design and my astrological energy, it's all a very controlling kind of thing. And I realized one day that my control comes up in this space of holding myself in a particular thought and wanting something to manifest in a certain kind of way. And then it comes and I'm disappointed because it's not what my mind envisioned in controlling how it comes, right? So a lot of this is giving, you need to surrender, relax, retreat for a second. Y'all, we got 5 minutes in retrograde. It's a good time to relax. Mercury about to go in retrograde. Somebody hit you up, be like, hit me up when the retrograde over so I know it's real. Okay? Hit me in 3 weeks. What else is here? What other messages, insights, and guidance do you all have? Oh, it's 2 cards coming out. So we have the Siren and the Common Dolphin. These are Mermaid cards. I don't even think these cards are made anymore. I will list them in all the cards that I'm using in the description box. But I don't think you can find these. These are those cards, Mermaids and Dolphins, and magical creatures of the sea. So the Common Dolphin speaks about simply having common sense, right? Following your intuition and your guidance, and following the song that is calling to your heart, the siren, right? This has a lot to do with moving from that space of that ego and into a place of success, right? And recognizing who it is that you need to connect with, the groups it is that you need to band with, I guess is, or even checking the bandwidth of the people you banding with, really seeing what's what for what it is. I'm gonna read these cards because they have short, nice descriptions. So we start with the siren, which speaks about a decision, and she says, as the siren charms with her sweet song, your words will receive the response you desire. An invitation that's hard to resist will arrive from someone who is emotionally attached to you. You may be accepting people who willingly come to you and let go of those who do not. A relationship will not end right if it begins wrong. Telltale signs may lead you to question another's honesty. Perhaps shame will be hidden behind a jagged rock. An imprudent man who draws near a siren will never return, because sirens were treacherous goddesses invoked at the moment of death. You, like the siren, will sweetly charm the tune, not by lyre or flute, but by observation. Right, so again, it's kind of like a retreating, a moment to retreat and take a look, observe, see what is going on, what is what for real, and pay attention. Use your intuition and your discernment when these people show up, because somebody may be returning from the past. In reference to that, what you looking for? Oh, okay. He told me not to talk, y'all. I'm recording. Okay, and then the Common Dolphin speaks about clairvoyance. So the thing you desire to happen waits in the distance. If you live worthily, your request will appear. Following the laws of the universe, thoughts are things that return, love, or hate, the latter being no part of your nature. Have faith in your intuition, because it is common sense, different to good sense that is commonly needed in everyday life. The Common Dolphin symbolizes that common sense is intuition, the point where the 5 senses of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching agree with each other that all is right. Follow your common sense in the seat of your soul, where it judges and decides the way of action presented by your 5 senses. Right, so if they not all ringing and rhyming and buzzing together, that ain't it. It's not it. It just isn't it, and that's okay. At the bottom we have the humpback whale, which speaks about focus, needing to focus on what it is that you're doing, where you're going, right? Focusing on your goal more than anything is what that card speaks about. What else is here? Spirit. I'm gonna pull these fairy cards because I'm gonna have to read these. They have nice little lengthy messages, but they always come through with the 1-2 And the fairies, the elementals. What other messages do you all have for us right now? For this Leo new moon. What else do you have here for us? Shaman. This is some very deeply powerful energy within oneself, right? Needing to connect with the shaman within oneself. You may actually need to connect with someone who operates as a shaman or a high priestess, because that high priestess came out at the bottom, right? Like in sorts of needing a reading, right? But here we have the shaman, which speaks about a teacher, right? The shaman indicates that you're being asked to take the next step in your spiritual development. Ask that you be given a shaman guide to assist you in your journey. This guide will help you become more aware of your own inner teacher. Center yourself, release any fears, and move completely into faith. Tell the universe that you are now ready for the next step in development of your gifts and understanding. Now allow yourself to be guided. Trust in divine timing. Understand that in every step you take during the journey, you are divinely protected. As you wind your way between the invisible and invisible worlds, shaman will help you unlock the sacred knowledge that is there for you. If you drew this card, you have the potential to be a spiritual teacher and a guide to others. Prepare yourself by meditating, praying, listening, and reading as much about spirituality as you can, and by taking good care of your mental, emotional, and physical self. Be a good example to others. Remember to leave, again, this shit is coming up again. Remember to leave the ego out of it and learn to create from the heart. Others may not seem as advanced as you are, but that too could be an illusion. Every person has his or her own path and timetable for personal growth. All paths lead to the same source. Spirit wants only the best for you. And that thing about people knowing more than you, when you get to talking to people and that you think you know more than, you'll realize y'all know the same things, because although whether they're older than you, younger than you, you may have experienced something similar. Like, that is what the collective consciousness is, an ability to relate to another based on experience. And the experience, the root of the experience, is a collective archetype, which is unconscious, and that's where that healing comes from, that shadow that we gain the wisdom from in bringing light to it, if that makes sense. So again, going within, when you go within, it needs to be a spiritual matter, right? You need to be meditating, doing some breathing, doing some yoga, releasing things out of your body. Maybe you just need to exercise. Exercise is a very spiritual thing. Don't think that the material world is not spiritual, because there is a such thing as spiritual materialism. There is a book called Spiritual Materialism. It doesn't exactly go into sorts of materialism being spiritual, but materialism is to a spiritual path, that you learn similar lessons as someone else taking the path of, I don't know, doing sound bowls, right? And the people it is, everybody's interacting with people, right? And the interacting with one another, that's how we really get to know who it is that we are, and the ways in which we respond, how we feel within ourselves when we are either embraced, triggered, or rejected, right? We always learning. It's always a lesson. There's a shaman in each and every one of us. The shaman in that archetype deck, it speaks about not getting caught up in thinking that you are the source. You're not the source. I believe it said it here too, that it's a channel, right? Not needing to get caught up in that ego, like, well, I said, no, I'm just a conduit. Like, I'm gonna go lay down and not remember nothing that I just talked about. And that's not because I'm not trying to hold on to it. It's just, right now, it's just a channel being open, offering me information to give and share with y'all in the ways that they come out to me, okay? So we have the money safe. So we have some money coming through for those that some of us may also be closing the door to some old ways that we were getting money that just don't work anymore. This is a 3 of diamonds. I don't know, I'm not a cardologist, I don't know that, but 3 of diamonds for me is 3 of pentacles, right? So this is maybe you are, again, working with people to help you attain this money. Maybe you are just very focused on your work, and in the focusing on the work, it's allowing you to build the wealth it is that you desire. Okay, it's money is coming through, but it's gonna have to come from within. It's not something necessarily that you're gonna find outside of yourself. You're going to have to go within to see where it is that you are stuck within your emotional patterns that are keeping you in the space of self-sabotage from being able to move forward, move through, and move into the new door that is trying to reveal itself to you, that's trying to open for you. Okay, because at the bottom we have the lilies, and with the lilies here, this is like a happy life, right? You want to live a happy life. You deserve to live a happy life, like that. But still, you do still have to earn the living a happy life out of knowing what's in your world, what's in you, what's in your mind that's keeping you unhappy, right? That's keeping your relationships separated, right? That's creating the resistance, that's creating your lack of desire to surrender. I mean, I guess don't nobody really want to surrender to something that seems like it's going to be hard, or just that space of unknowing is very it's a very tender space, right? Because it's like, it's so emotional, it's so tense in the body of like, I just don't know, should I do this? And it's not until you trust, let go, and we can say let God, all right, your spirits, your ancestors, your guides, whoever you pray to, it's the time to build your faith, right? What other messages do we have here? We're going to pull these tarot cards. What else would you like for us to know for this Leo new moon? You got to be patient. Birth takes 9 months. We have the grandchildren, which is Aquarius. This is the star card in traditional tarot. So the grandchildren basically speaks about the future, right? Your legacy and what it is that you're laying down. This can even be speaking about you as a grandchild. There may be some ancestral work it is that you're needing to do to recognize what it is that you're feeling. Like, what is it that's throwing you off within you? What happened when you was a kid, right? At the time, okay, so like maybe place it at a time when your grandparents were still around, alive, if that was a possibility for you, right? So, or maybe check into the lives that your grandparents lived, right? Talk to who you can talk to about your grandparents. Learn their story, because you are their grandchild, you are their legacy, right? And now you're trying to create your own legacy. You're trying to build upon what it is that they left for you, what they created for you. Granted, I know everybody didn't come from a very like, you know, positive, prosperous type of family entity, right? But even that in itself is something to grow for, something to learn. And it's like, why did you experience that? What was that for you, you know? Okay, what is this here? Some justice coming to the forefront. We have the garden. This is the world card, right? The garden and the world card, even, it speaks about minding your business, right? Because in minding your business, that's your ability to be able to succeed within the confines, the oppression of the matrix, right? This is what allows you to be sovereign, right? Getting to know yourself, right? Really knowing who it is that you are. However, everything that's going on here in these cards, with you going within, recognizing what's what for you, what's going on with you, is going to help you succeed, right, in this legacy building, in your ability to free yourself, right? Because Aquarius is about autonomy, and you know, Capricorn is basically the matrix or whatever. It's the structure of things, right? So it's like, what are you doing to build your own structure? Let's keep this reading in the home. I don't really want to go there with all the extra worldly things. I want to mind my business. Okay, and do what it is that I need to do for my right now, right? And my home, my family, right? So we have 2 of baskets here. So this can be speaking about coming into union of oneself, right? This can also be about success within your love relationship, right? With your honey, your sweet one, okay? And things coming to a place where you feel successful, right? This can even just be feeling successful within oneself. This moon is really it's gonna take it there, right? It's gonna force that soul embodiment, right? That soul expression. That's Leo, right? If I can't be myself, I ain't there. I ain't doing it. I'm not present. Okay. If there's any restrictions, at the bottom we got the ancestors, right? So this is the death card. It's about rebirth. Needing to tap into one's power, right? Scorpio even speaks about power struggles, knowing your own personal power. Okay. So this is definitely happening. This is definitely an emotional thing, because the only minor arcana card that came out was the 2 of baskets, right? This is a relationship thing. This is you within the relationships. This is you in relationship with yourself. Okay, this is the relationships that came before you and what they gave to you, what they taught you, and what you got to let go from that, and where that's blocking your success, but where it's also helping you succeed and thrive and, love. So I rolled some dice, y'all. And we got 5 and 5, 10. So definitely stepping into some changes taking place. As we already talked about, stepping into a new beginning and infinite possibility, right? And really allowing, right? Giving the space, creating the space for these changes to take place, new discoveries of yourself, okay? And really allowing you to thrive. It may be difficult. 5s are not easy, right? But with these 2 5s and it being a 10, that can bring a lot of flow, right? Because it's a 1 moving into a 0, right? So it's the individual moving into the collective, right? And recognizing whether this is the collective of your family, the collective of your home, and those who are in it, okay? And bringing that change that allows things to thrive, that brings that joy and happiness and fulfillment and love and life and romance, Leo, and looking at this from a magical working perspective, this speaks about a powder, right? So making a powder that can support you in connecting with your autonomy, your success if you haven't already, connecting with your inner voice, right? And what it is that you care about. Because the grandchildren, we love the kids, so are you loving you, that kid, you, the kid in you? Do you love it? Like, what? Are you still caught up in the happenings of the past that have threaded a narrative of what you believe about yourself, right? Because these stories can come up as, oh, they did this to me, they used to say this about me, da 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 da, and you're angry, you're bitter about it, right? So now, in that bitterness, in that anger, it needs to be realized that, oh, we've taken on these thoughts. We've taken on this narrative, and we believe this to be true about ourselves. Yet we're still tying it to these people who, yes, did see this in us, but now we believe it because we're still holding on to it, and our life reflects that. All right, so what is what for you? What is healing for you? What's going on with you? Okay, so yes, you guys, that is it for this Leo new moon. If you are in need of a personal reading, you can find the link below. It is a list of everything that I offer, my services, my blog, okay, to shop. Whatever floats your boat, whatever it is that you need, I am here for you. Hit me up, holla at me, okay? And yes, I will see y'all very, very soon. I hope y'all have a wonderful and blessed Leo new moon. Bye.